Hello everyone, how's everybody doing today? And today is not a review of a figure I purchased, and I usually do not do this, but however, there is a figure that I really was shocked and I saw I must do a video on this because this looked awesome. And the figure I'm talking about is a Threezero Iron Man 112 scale figure, and that's Mark 43. And it's another Mark 43. There's a lot of figures that, a company did that, and it's all 6-inch and 112 scale. Comicave did it, Figuarts did it, Mafex did it, Marvel Legend did it, Figma did it. There's so many companies who did that, but it is one of the most, popular Iron Man suit. And now we're getting a Threezero joining into this 112 scale figure. And one thing is, this look insanely amazing. This looks second to none. This quality I see, it could be literally Mafex killer, Figuarts killer, Comicave killer, and Figma killer. And Marvel Legend doesn't have a chance on this anyways, but it could be a 112 Iron Man competitor killer because it's diecast. It looked insanely detailed. It even looked like a Hot Toy figure, and in fact, the Hot Toys 1/6 scale, they're bigger of course, but their regular 1/6 scale, it had aged, and I still like it. I have one, I own one, and that's still one of my to-go Iron Man suit, but it did age. And I do also have a quarter scale. The proportion of this deluxe Iron Man from Threezero, the proportion does look similar into that quality of 1/4 scale of Hot Toy, and that is a lot coming from myself. And yes, the detail isn't, of course, anything near 1/4 or 1/6, because bigger figure mean more surface area. More surface area mean you can add way more details. So of course you can't compete. But however, from just looking at it from a distance, the proportion looks like a person could get in there, because a lot of figures for Iron Man, it looks like a person just can't get in there, and that's understandable, because when you look at it in the MCU movies, right, you look at it and you could be sure that a person's not in there. You just can't, because it's just too squeezed. But that said, it looks really convincing, the Threezero figure, and therefore I kind of wanted to speak about this and compare with the other competitor, such as the Comicave and so on. So yeah, let me start with talking about who Threezero is, because I have been purchasing some items from them. They're not like a big company like, say, Hasbro or Bandai or whatever, but their detail is insanely high. So yeah, let me talk about who Threezero is first. Now, Threezero is known to be a larger scale figure brand, something of a 12-inch, and maybe sometime higher, sometime a little bit smaller, but usually they're in the 12-inch line. They're quite known for, say, the Fallout, the Game of Thrones 1/6 scale. They also did The Walking Dead. They are very known for the Transformer, and I think their Transformer line is the best known for their work. And especially I'm talking about the movie Bumblebee movie, and yeah, there's a lot of fans that purchasing from Threezero when it comes to the Transformer line. The Optimus Prime, I have the deluxe one, and that looks so beautiful. It is gorgeous, and it articulates nice, it lights up. And also they got Bumblebee, of course, and it looks great too, and the proportion is spot on. I think it is the best of its scale, and they're not exactly 1/12 scale, but they're very they're more like a maybe 1/20 scale, so on. But however, they're coming out with a premium scale, which is, I did my math, they're almost 1/13. They're not exactly 1/12 scale, but the premium series is very big, and I really want to get a hold of it because of the detail is so crazy. They're also getting the deluxe edition of, or actually they already did got their deluxe edition of Soundwave and so on. I do hear a rumor that they might be releasing Megatron, not too sure, but they're going all out on the Transformer, and the fans are praising for them. And not only the Transformer, but they're also known in Japan, just that they just started the Pat Labor line, and I'm not too sure if you're interested with Pat Labor because they're really, the fan base is really core Japanese, but it looks really nice. For me, the leg looks a little too skinny for what it's supposed to be, but overall it's a diecast. It's really nice. I love them for what they're doing. They're also known for their Ultraman. Their Ultraman is okay, but their Baltan's Seijin is crazy detailed. It's beautiful. I think it's the best of its kind. There's no competition on that. It's 1/6 scale, and I would love to get it, just that I don't have any more shelf space. And not only that, they do a lot of a character figure in 1/6 scale, and well, again, Game of Thrones, and you know, and sometimes they're not that great, the facial looks, and for especially the cartoon character like the One Punch Man, it looks a little bit off. And not only that, but the Ultraman, that they have an unmasked Ultraman face, but that looks a little bit weird. They're not really great at comic or anime look. Like the Fullmetal Alchemist, Al looks really great, and Ed looks great, but the face is great too, but it's a little off. And you know, it's a thing that if you're a Japanese, then you can, it's not because you're Japanese, you can sculpt it better. But the thing is, for example, McFarlane toys, they make say the My Hero Academia and so on. A lot of Western companies that focuses on anime, they kind of can't get it, while Figma and other companies, they get it spot on. It's a cultural thing, so they're probably, the West isn't tuned with their eyes when it comes to the anime style. They can't get it properly yet. In the future, I'm quite sure they will. But the Threezero, yes, I think they are still struggling with anime look. And even for a live action, I wasn't too impressed with their Game of the Throne line. However, their other figures, like say they have a 1/6 scale dragon from Game of Thrones, and that is insanely crazy detail. And the Rambo is amazing. That's the latest release that they're doing. I have their X-File motor, and it's not Hot Toys, but it looks really, you know, it's Motor and Scully. But again, the Rambo does look on par with Hot Toys. They're going around with the G.I. Joe, and the Snake Eye, the proportion looked a little slightly off, but then the Snake Eye came in and it looks awesome. It looks really nice. And recently they released a Power Ranger, and I think it's a crazy release because they just, you know, announced all 6 right away, and they're doing a deluxe 6-figure, you know, combo release, and they all looks really nice. So a lot of figures that they're trying to do, and I really wasn't expecting them to run to a 1/12 scale, because when I first saw the announcement of Iron Man, I saw that that's not 1/12 scale. It looks, you know, slightly bigger, you know, because the detail was so great. And then I realized it's 1/12 scale, and that is crazy because I never seen any other brand in 1/12 or 6-inch scale in this much detail and this much, well, not accessory, but you know, the back flap open, the arm missile comes out, and so on. It's a lot of detail and articulation, and it's die cast. And let's say compare with other brand out here. For example, Marvel Legend, and not much of competition. They're like, you know, there's no way to compete. It's $20 figure, you know, in the US. It's completely plastic. The detail kind of sucks. It's very aged badly. And even if they re-release an updated version, I don't think Marvel Legend would compete with any import or anything else. They're 6-inch. It's not fully 1/12 scale, and they're in their own line, so that's fine. But again, it's not much of a competition. And I said $20, but if you live outside the West, Marvel Legend isn't cheap. If you go to Japan, it's like $50 because of the import and whatever and so on. So when people in the West, complain, oh, imports are expensive and so on. No, not necessary. I think it's for what you pay for, because say if you compare with Figuarts, Iron Man, the same one, it's 58,000 yen. That's American dollar, maybe like $50 or so. It's great detail. It had a foot die cast, so overall it's not heavy, but it gives you the weights onto its foot, so it's balanced really nice. The thing with the diecast, it's all diecast and the weight is all distributed, so it could be top heavy sometime and it can fall. Figuarts went the smart way. It's all plastic on top, but then making it a diecast on the bottom, it's not gonna fall. And the painting app is great. One thing is it's 155 centimeters, so it's a little small for 1/12 scale. And it's not, you can't have it beside any Marvel Legend, and I don't care about that. But still, if you're paying a $20, and if you live in Japan, if you're gonna pay $50 for a Marvel Legend figure that has a poor articulation, no accessory, versus a $50 worth of figure art, which is superior when it comes to completely everything, then the price difference is speaking. And so therefore, for a lot of people outside America or US, they're not gonna see it in how the West sees. Even in Canada, for us, Marvel Legend isn't cheap. It's not $20 here. It's like $30 here, and we don't get everything that the West or US get. It's funny, I say West, and I always say I speak of West like it's America only, because Canada sucks so bad. I live in it. But anyhow, yeah, and most of the figure here, we don't get it, so the price rocket up to like $50 or sometimes $60 easily. We see figures that just released from Black Series Star Wars at like $80, $90, and so on. So I say people in the West, people in the US get everything the best, the most easiest and the luckiest, because a lot of exclusive we can't get it in Canada. But not complaining, because still, if you pay money you can get it. But again, the Figuarts, comparing, it's a great figure, but comparing to the Threezero, no, the Threezero look crazy great. Comicave is also around $100 to $130. It's a little expensive, but it's 75% diecast, and I think it's one of the best when it comes to showing off the hatch and all these cool parts, opening hatch and accessories and so on. Definitely, it's one of the best of that kind. In fact, I think it can beat Threezero when it comes to that area. But one thing is that it's not as detailed. The proportion is a little bit off, and at the same time it's small for 1/12 scale. So it's for that, it's not too sure. And I think that the Threezero was around, I think that was around $100 or something like that, or no, it's around $89, so it's much cheaper, yet the proportion and everything looks great. Come to the Mafex is around 7,800 yen. That's around like $70. Mafex is always overly too expensive, and some fanboys make excuse saying that, oh, Mafex is a small company, that's why they have to charge more. No, that's stupid ridiculous, because Medicom is not a small company. They've been here really long, way longer than most. They were being here way before Threezero. They will be here way longer than most company. I've been collecting them a long time ago. The US people didn't know about Mafex because, well, they start pushing on Mafex brand not so long ago, but they were Medicom toys. They were selling 12-inch and 1/6 scale Japanese superhero figures, and I've been purchasing that for whenever it started. Not the great quality, because their materials suck all the time. Their 1/6 figure always breaks down every time, but I kept supporting them because I love what they were doing. Mafex, it came again, they have a ton of QC issues, and the problem with Mafex is even they have a crappy QC issues, it's overly stupidly expensive. 78,000 yen, that's just ridiculous for just a plastic figure. And no problem, I can pay it, like absolutely no problem at all. I have no issues, but what you're paying, if it doesn't, you know, support what the quality is, then it doesn't make sense. I see Mafex as the problem what Hot Toys did, because when Hot Toys came, everybody was, wow, the quality was great. Not exactly. The first time they came out, they were doing a military figure, and not everybody was talking about it. It's only when they did the Joker that everybody was saying, oh my god, that looked amazing. But then that Joker wasn't the best. It was okay. Then they finally came out with a updated Joker, and that's where everything catched on. But the thing is, they're overly expensive, and comparing to Sideshow, the say Clone Trooper or whatever, they were like $100, 100 something bucks deluxe, and they had superior articulation. If you compare Sideshow's Stormtrooper or Clone Trooper, and people say, oh, it aged and so on, but not so much, because Hot Toys Stormtroopers are very modernized comparing to the Sideshow. Sideshow it captures that era's Stormtrooper really well. I still think it looks really decent, and if you know the George Lucas, you know, the original trilogy, all the Stormtroopers were, you know, not, you know, symmetrical. They were all kind of, you know, bended there, and so for me, it looks still fine. Yes, it could be better, but again, for the price, again, they are they articulate far superior, even though they're like ancient figure. And the Hot Toys, they're not doll, they're like statues. You can't articulate, and that's pathetic for the price they're charging. Even the Clone Trooper, like Hot Toys Deluxe, they're like 100 and something bucks, and you get far more stuff, and it articulates far better. And yes, the Hot Toys new Clone Trooper are better in detail, but again, you know, if you compare about the time it took to release this, it's not fair when you say, oh, today's figure is better than, you know, old figure. Obviously, of course, but if you can't beat whatever the old figure were doing, then I think that's complete miserable failure, and that comes with the accessories, the articulation, and so on. And Hot Toys completely suck at that. And the issue with Hot Toys is they crank up the price for no good reason, because Sideshow was doing completely fine with that price range. But now, because Hot Toys increased the price, Sideshow see that opportunity, and they jumped on, and they're expensive now. Not so expensive as Hot Toys, but they cranked up for no extra reason, and we can see that with the Naboo Darth Maul or the Jango Fett. It came with almost no accessories. Before, they were doing a lot of accessories, they were giving us a lot of stuff, and you know, there were like a lot of, you know, fan supported. But now, because of Hot Toys, where Hot Toys doesn't give much accessory anyways, and if they do, they'll crank up the price anyways. But Sideshow is the same thing. Oh, we don't need to give extra effort, we'll just, you know, crank up the price. And that happened, and now all 1/6 scaled are going to be, you know, that high price range for no good reason. And for me, if it's worth it, then I'll pay. But if it doesn't worth it, then I'll still pay. But I'll be like, what the hell, you guys suck. And I run my own business, and I don't do cheap shit like that to my customer. I say that customer pays what they deserve, and therefore that's about it. But now I see that in the 112 series, where Mafex is cranking up a price for 78,000 yen. And I'm talking about the 78,000 yen. I'm talking about the Mark 43, and that was a while ago. And that was, you know, they released it a long time ago. And Mafex is still 78,000 yen when it was released. Figuarts 5,800 yen. And what's with the 2,000 yen difference? The foot, they don't have any diecast. It's nothing much. The paint isn't that great. The proportion, I love it. I love I think the 112 scale Mafex Mark 43, when it comes to proportion, it knocks everyone out of the park until this Threezero came around. And yeah, so I give that proportion part, but I'm not gonna say that 2,000 yen of extra money was a crappy paint would support 2,000 yen. So yeah, they're already trying to crank up the price like Hot Toys for no good reason. And now what we got was that recently it was crazy announcement, because now we're getting the end game Iron Man with almost no accessory. We only get a shield. It's completely ridiculous, but they're charging 140 bucks, and there's no, like, everybody was laughing about it, because it's like 140 bucks. You can buy a 1/6 scale for that. Then the only accessory you see is the hand blaster option, the backpack option, the laser thingies. I don't know what it is, but yeah, and a big shield, and 140 bucks, ridiculous. It's completely stupid, and it's made by plastic. And I was like, well, I'll buy it and I'll take a look at it, just because it looks okay. It's not like the best. The proportion looks really nice. The paint, meh. It looks great, but it's not a diecast, right? But then when I look at the Threezero, where the proportion is absolutely gorgeous, more detailed, the paint is amazing. Oh, it's diecast, and I don't know if it's gonna light up, because the arc reactor looks like it's lighting up, not too sure. But then you get all these accessories. You also get, well, not too much accessories, but still, it's a diecast, and they're charging only like 80 bucks or something. That's crazy. That's like insanely great. And if it does light up, that's much more crazier. But when I look at that, then I'm gonna start saying that, why am I gonna pay Mafex for it? It's like no reason. And I'm not a fanboy, or I'm not a fantard. I look at things for what it is, and if it's good, I'll pay. If it's not, then I don't need to be loyal to that company, because they're screwing the fans or customer. Because I think the toxic thing about fanboys is that they're part of the problem. The thing is, if you want your company to survive, then you must be critical. And if you can't be critical to your favorite company, then you're a toxic person who's going to be dragging that company down, because the company is listening. And if you don't tell them that, hey guys, you're doing something wrong, don't do that, because I don't want you to fail, and there's a lot of competitors running around you, and they're looking at the chance for you to fail, they'll come up and they'll beat the hell out of you. Don't do that. I don't want you to fail. But these toxic kids or whatever saying, oh no, I love Mafex, it's so awesome, oh I love Figuarts, oh I love Marvel Legend, oh how dare you. Those people are the problem, because those noise will call the company saying, oh no, we don't have any problem, let's resume, and then they'll fail, because a competitor like the Threezero we see right here comes by and kick everybody's ass, and period, right? So I still want Mafex to succeed, but then if I see Threezero coming on, and I love Threezero, I love their figure, I buy them, and I have no issue buying the Mark 43. I'll definitely buy it. But then if I see them doing that, then my mind, and I think everybody's mind, is going to be like, well, they're probably going to do 1/12 scale Infinity War and Endgame, and they'll probably do Mark 1 to all the figures, right? That's automatically something that everybody's going to start thinking, and it's going to be 100 bucks. That's 100 bucks, but the diecast, it's going to be a Comicave. It's cheaper than, it's not 100 bucks, it's like 80 bucks, but it's cheaper than Comicave. The proportion is absolutely gorgeous, better than everyone here. And then yeah, and the paint app is really nice too, and I don't know if they have LED, but if they do, then it's no brainer. It's 80 bucks. Mafex, your 7,800 yen Mark 43 gonna be, it's useless. No one's gonna care. Figuarts is 58,000 yen. That's around, say, 50 bucks, 55 bucks, but it's not diecast, right? And it's not gonna light up. It's it's accessories, it's gonna be around the same, and the size is slightly small. So, and I think that the 301, the size looks really nice. I think it's a pure 1/12 scale Iron Man that we never got. So I would pay extra 30 bucks, no problem with that. Marvel Legend, no question, kick that out of my face. Figma, they had a figure for 81.48 yen. That's around like 75 bucks or so. It's all plastic. and it's small, so it's not 1/12 scale. And the problem, it was exclusive for no reason. But I love the paint. The paint is really nice. I really love it. It's beautiful. But again, it's the same price range of the Threezero, then no question, like no brainer. Figma, goodbye, right? And then Comicave, no, it's cheaper than Comicave, goodbye. So it's completely Comicave, Figuart, Mafex, Marvel Legend, Figma killer, and I'm okay with that. I think that if a company comes by and say, oh, you guys are doing a crappy job, I can do better, then the old should be replaced. And it's not like I run a business and I know my place. I only exist because my customer allows me to. I'm not an egotistical idiot thinking that I'm the best, I'm great, I'm here and you guys follow me. I don't think about that, because that's what Lucasfilm did, or Kathleen Kennedy did after George Lucas. Like, oh, screw you all, George Lucas fan and Star Wars fan, and I don't like you, SJW feminazi, let's go. And what happened? The customer spoke, and now the best franchise is on the ground, drilled, burning in Mustafar. But then the great thing about it is that the passionate people like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas, and the fandom, and all the George Lucas supportive team, they came back and they pushed it. So for that, Star Wars miraculously might, get saved, but toy company is a different thing, because they're not sticking in one franchise. So when you look at all that, and if you really want your favorite brand to survive, you must be critical, or else you're a toxic person who's gonna be pulling that company down. Like, I was, like, don't do that. It's like, Star Wars is gonna fall, and it fell. And I was like, don't do that. Marvel Comics gonna fall. It fell. Now it might go bankrupt, or not bankrupt, but Disney is most likely gonna pull a plug in some way. And it's miserable because these toxic people trying to push their personal things, and they don't think about the company or the franchise. So we must be critical on what our favorite fandom or franchise or brand is doing. And I think that this 3/0 1/12 scale is a very big a threat to any Iron Man making company when it comes to 1/12 scale. And one thing with 3/0, they're really great with robotic, metallical, or machinery figures. They're okay with a human-like figures. They're not the best, but they're getting there. And one day I'm quite sure they'll get there. But again, all those machinery characters that, like, maybe for example RoboCop, if they do 1/12 scale, I think that Mafex RoboCop is awesome. I have him and it's cool. And Good Smile Company is releasing another one with diecast. That looks great too. But again, 3/0 might come in, right? Anything to do with robotic or machinery figure, 3/0 might come into the 1/12 scale range and burn everybody out. And I'm completely okay with that, because it's all about competition, and competition makes everybody push further. And if you're not competing, you're gonna be really slack off, and your quality goes down. And that's what we see in many other brands. And I'm gonna buy this 3/0. It looks beautiful, and I am hoping other brand into that range to do similar or best, or else no one's gonna buy their Iron Man. Like, Figma already kind of dropped off because I don't see any Iron Man figure coming out. Comicave, they're doing their own thing, but again, this is a really direct, threat to Comicave, exactly, because they're more expensive, and they're in the same range, diecast. But not only that, Figuart and Mafex, I don't think no one's gonna be caring about Marvel Legends, because they're their own thing, and no one expecting too much about Marvel Legend MCU figures when it comes to that. But if you look at the Figuarts and Mafex, I think it's a very big threat to them, because $80 and that quality, especially Mafex, no, $140 for that endgame figure. No, if 3/0 comes in the range of $80 or $90, Mafex is done when it comes to the Iron Man. No one's gonna look at them. And if you want Mafex Iron Man to be, or whatever Mafex doing to be successful, then yeah, I think fandom should be critical. I love Mafex, and I've been supporting Medicom toys than anyone, and I say anyone in the state or Canada. I've been supporting them from 1/6 scale 12-inch real action figure toy line. So yeah, and so I'm a longest supporter, but again, I don't want them to fail. And say for example, if I don't know, Threezero come with all the armored character, for example Thanos for 1/12 scale, they can do that, because if he's mostly armor, and they can do great armor, Threezero, and if they sculpt a great Thanos head, and done, they're gonna kill everyone out of the park. So, and I'm quite sure Threezero will one day come to that, because they will all be exploring what to do. So I'm welcoming Threezero for the 1/12 scale, because that's a very big wake up call for everyone, because that means that everybody should like, oh, alert, we have to do better, we can't slack off. Not meaning that people were slacking off. Well, Mafex, they have QC issues, and I don't think it's fair for the customer to fix the problem with these QC issues. That shouldn't be a QC issue at all, and I think it's ridiculous for a fanboy making excuse for them. So no, that doesn't make any sense. In art, and I was a digital animation art instructor in Japan. And it's a common thing with art that most artists and film movie critics or movie creator director, especially Ryan Johnson, JJ, or even artists like Daisy Ridley and so on, they forgot. The thing is that art, you can't make an excuse. Jackie Chan done a really great quote saying that you gotta make it right, even though how many takes it takes, you gotta make it right. Because are you going to all the theater and make an excuse saying that this scene was crappy because you didn't have time to do your best? Are you gonna do that? No, you can't. When you go to a museum, this is my lesson I learned. But when you go to a museum, you see a art picture. No one's gonna be there to make an excuse for that art. The art is art right there, and no one has the right to make excuse for it. It's as it is, and anything you see is as it is. That's the best it can do for that, whatever it is. So making an excuse for anything is quite frankly a slacky thing, quite pity. I don't make an excuse. I make when I run a company, if I do crap, I apologize, I own it, I do my best to make my customer happy. And if this is a gold thing, a lot of companies don't understand, a lot of a figure company too don't understand this, but the thing is, the biggest chance is when customers are unhappy is the greatest chance, because if you make them happy, then they'll be your greatest fan. And a lot of business don't understand that. They fail to understand that. The fundamental thing in Japan, the Toyota and so on, the idea was, well, they call it customer is God. Not truly, but the thing is, that's their idea. Make customer happy, because if your customer is not happy, then you don't deserve to exist, because the customer is what makes you, deserve to exist. Because if customers say screw you, then who's gonna buy your stuff? No one. And it's your fault. It's all your fault. It's not customer's fault. Your customer is not happy because your product sucks. It's crappy. So deal with it. So I deal with it, and I deal with it by making my customer happy. So when people make an excuse, I always like, when anyone makes an excuse for a company, they're not in the level of understanding to my stage. Then I don't even make it in a way that they deserve. They don't deserve my response, because they're not into the same level. Because the company should be really strict on this. We must make customer happy. It's not the opposite. It's not the customer trying to correct another customer to make this company happy. No, that doesn't work. That never worked. It is that company must make a customer happy. If we screw up, it's our fault. We make it right. And there are, asshole customer out there. Yes, I know that. They're just cheap ass customers who just want cheap things and so on. Yes, I understand there are those, but not everyone is like that. So it's case by case. So, and therefore, take it as case by case, and not to forget that customer making them happy is the most important thing. And we saw that was the last season Mandalorian, where, spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Luke came back, and that's the Luke we knew. It's not the Jake Skywalker that the Disney stupid sequel gave us. And I say stupid because it was that was what made Star Wars fall to the ground. And I'm a Disney shareholder. I care about Disney, so I know more about supporting Disney. I'm paying Disney to stay afloat. So when people might say, "Oh, you are a Disney hater," no, I'm not. I'm quite sure I love Disney more than you, and I support Disney more than you, and that's proven by the fact that I purchased their stock. And even their shares and everything are falling, I'm not gonna sell my share because I want Disney to succeed. So that all said, yeah, we now have a massive new brand coming in, 1/12 scale, Iron Man. We love Iron Man. And yeah, that's I hope Threezero would push more, because I love Threezero, and I love Figuarts, I love Mafex, I love Figma. Marvel Legend, man, it's good and bad. Sometimes not. I still love them. I love their comic line. Yeah, I love their comic line. MCU line, nah, no, not much. But yeah, I love all the line, but not like all the line can survive, right? Like in their particular line. Maybe that like Figma dropped their Iron Man line. It's gonna be like that. So maybe if people don't wake up, then some of the brand might drop things. You know, like, oh, we can't do this franchise because someone else is kicking our ass. So the thing is, I think it's a welcome opening for all the fans that someone's entering into, you know, raise the bar. And yeah, I look very much forward to see how this is gonna go. And when I receive it, I would love to do a review. I still love my Figuarts Mark 43, but this really adds a question of, does the new Iron Man Mafex from Endgame, is it worth it for that price? $140, does it worth it? Because $80 for this Threezero, if you add 2, that's $160. $20 more, you can buy 2 fully diecast Iron Man, and you don't need to buy 2 Mark 43 from Threezero. You can just wait for another one, right? And not to mention the Threezero coming with a Hulkbuster. They done an announcement. They're coming with a Hulkbuster. Comicave did a Hulkbuster. Figuarts did a Hulkbuster. I think a Mafex did a Hulkbuster. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So that tells me that they're coming in full power. So yeah, that is going to be really, really interesting. And I've been purchasing the Hall of Armor from Figuarts. Oh my god, what am I going to do? Because they're going to probably do that too. So yeah, it looks a little bright. Not a little bright. That's going to be very interesting on the figure line. And I think that's a good announcement that we're getting something new in 2021. 2020 was really dark. We all lost something. I lost something too, a lot of things, but I hope that 2021 is gonna be good for everyone. So yeah, that's about it, and yeah, talk to you all soon. 遊びでやってるんだよ。